Greetings. This is an overview of Module 2 in our Research and Persuasion class. In Module 1, we had a discussion where we talked about some of our background and maybe something that we researched in the past. And then in our writing assignment, we went ahead and created a research question by looking at a number of choices that were given to us in the project resource document. We chose a topic, we chose an article, we tried to identify a debatable topic related to that, and then write a research question and the purpose for our research. And now as we move on to Module 2, we're going to take the next step in that progression, and that is by looking further at the topic that we have chosen. So in order to do so, we will be looking for two sources that are not from the article, but actually we will be looking in the library. And if you'll see that sources identifying your persuasive research, this area will help you understand the kinds of articles and the ways to begin your research, how to write terms, and what you are looking for. Who is your audience? It has several different kinds of resources, but most important, the library guide here and narrowing down your topic. So one of the first things you're going to do for week 2 is to look for two sources from the library that you will be using to further your project in this class. When you find those two, you'll want to share the links to those sources in the discussion area. In the discussion, you'll share two links, describe how these two sources support the topic that you've chosen, and then talk a little bit about different perspectives that are presented in the two sources. How are the voices different? Do they represent the source in full? Are they biased or not biased? And then with similar information that you're offering here in the discussion, you will complete your journal. In the journal, it asks these questions. List your sources, and that is the two sources that you've gotten from the library. It says include the links and practice using APA or MLA citations. And I really encourage you to do this. This is part of the assignment. And as we move along, that'll be an important skill for you to gain. So then after you've listed the two sources, you're going to describe how each source supports or relates to your research question. And discuss the credibility of your sources. Are they peer-reviewed? Are they written by authoritarian figures? Are they written by experts in the field? Do they use other research to support their ideas? And then discuss how your audience might view the credibility. Finally, the third question deals with bias. Explain the bias or lack of bias in each source. Now, kind of what does that mean? Well, in week 1, I talked about choosing a topic of ethics and advertising. So I went to the library and took a quick look at a couple of sources that might be helpful to my topic. The first one that I chose was the current state of advertising ethics, industry, and academic perspectives. A couple of things I want you to notice about this. First, the date. It's not really that current, but for my purpose today, I'm going to be using it. Notice you can also find other similar articles here, as it says more like this and explore. Finally, I want you to note that you can use the citation tool here, and you choose whether you're using MLA, APA, and whichever it is, you can do that, select, it's going to copy it for you, and then you can put that in your paper. But I want to talk a little bit about bias. And as we read through, we want to see what is the purpose. When we talk about bias in sources, we want to know the goal or the purpose that the writer or writers have chosen to do this. And in this, it talks a little bit about our purpose is not to provide a comprehensive literature review. We seek simply to characterize trends through the decades. In-depth reviews of research on advertising ethics, see the Handbook of Advertising. The purpose here is simply to survey and provide a review of literature on ethics. This article may be helpful, but it is not going to make any take a position on what's ethical or not. It's only going to provide an overview of the literature that's out there. Another piece that I found was this new guidelines tackle ethics in advertising. And this states hospital exaggerates its medical mortality, it's giving examples, and then it is saying this marketing tactics are all unethical according to newly revised guidelines on advertising. And it goes on to talk about revised guidelines need to follow the following. This is pointing out different examples that are ethical and non-ethical. So the first source is non-biased. It's not really giving us opinion on what's right or wrong. The second source has a bias towards those advertising and marketing campaigns that act in ways that they think are unethical. So that's a brief look at the kinds of bias that you might see. So again, just a rewrap of what we're doing in week 2, we have 2 different assignments that are graded in week 2, and they include they include that discussion of diverse perspectives. And again, those biased or non-biased views are what we're looking for when we talk about diverse perspectives. And then the journal research process, which we just went through, and that will set you up for week 3. So remember, do the reading, use the resources in the library, and let me know if you need help. Take care.